Hey guys, it's Sunday and I'm sharing another episode of Tribe of Unicorns with you. We are sitting down and talking to Emily Reagan. But before I do that, I just wanted to jump in and thank you so much for allowing me to create this podcast and continue to share these stories with you. I've learned so much about where creativity comes from and what makes people tick, what drives people to become change makers and live a life of joy and beauty. Against all odds sometimes. So thank you again for letting me come back to you week by week. I loved hearing how these episodes have touched your lives in the ways that they have, and I just feel so blessed and thankful that I'm able to do this. So enjoy your Sunday, enjoy this episode. We'll see you next week. Hey guys, welcome back to Tribe of Unicorns. I'm your host, Kendra, and I'm sitting with my friend, Emily Reagan. How are you?
Hey, so happy to be here with you today.
I always start these things like we haven't just been talking for a half hour.
But we have.
Yes, we have. And it was a good combo. We met in the strangest way.
Yes, we did.
So it started with a DM, and I think we were like in the height of quarantine, right?
We were. It was August.
Yeah.
It was hot outside, and we were on our computers in the evening, probably tucked our children in bed. And I think we were in the same Facebook group and bonded over the fact that our podcasts both had the name Unicorn in it.
Yes. And I was so excited to meet another unicorn.
Yes. And we immediately started talking about art and all of the things. And I think our true unicorn-esque came out, the fact that we're like multi-passionate. We had lots of different interests, like multifaceted women. And it was fun chatting with you, and we connected.
Yeah. Which has been the coolest thing about, I think, if you have to pull anything out of COVID and this time, like those connections have been really, really interesting and kind of life saving to not feel like you're alone and reach out and someone, is there.
I think I appreciate it so much when people just get right into it. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a time when I'm guarded and shy and private, but when people can just kind of pull the curtain aside and just start having a real conversation, I think I'm instantly in love. Like I just appreciate people being genuine and open and not talking about the weather.
Right. Or wanting something, right? Like our conversation was completely like, you're cool. I think I'm cool. Like, let's just be cool together.
And so many people in Facebook groups right now are coming from the angle of selling. And if I get tagged in one other Facebook Live that I missed that I never wanted to watch, I might scream.
Oh my, or one person like, how can I serve you? And I'm like, you can't. Like, I love you. If you want to have a conversation about your favorite coffee, like, let's do that. But I'm not there for networking. I'm there to just share experiences with people digitally because I can't really do that in real life. And I love watching people's growth. I love watching people win. I think it's just a really cool way to kind of raise the vibe in a digital way, I guess.
I think your true self when you are out to serve and help people really comes out online. And I think that's why people like you and I are successful. Because our heart's there. That's where our heart is. I think when people are constantly selling or trying to pitch the next thing, or especially upselling, like here's the next thing you need. Like I think that in the end, people just see through that crap, really.
It took me a while to figure that one out. I paid for a webinar and I was so excited about it. It was with like a bunch of really high profile people that I really loved. And I realized after being on it all day long and paying the money that I had just paid for an infomercial. And it took me years to realize that structure. I don't know why, but I was like, oh my God, they're not giving me any value. It's all, it's an infomercial. And I was like, oh, all right, that's not real.
I feel like I see that more and more in these virtual events, like the virtual summits,
the
conferences now, even live conferences like funnel into the next thing.
Yep.
And I think because I'm in this digital marketing world so deep, I can't help but see it everywhere. And it's so refreshing just to talk to somebody and bond over real life things,
Yeah.
not just marketing. Like I'm just thinking of this conference I attended to recently, and the whole topic was like, all right, this guy's really going to teach me how to do a challenge leading into a launch. And afterward, I mean, he's the bigwig of the industry. Afterward, I don't think I learned one dang thing, because it was
Yeah.
just pitching himself as an expert to work with him. And that's not why I'm there. But to defend webinars and whatnot, they're not all like that,
No, they're definitely not.
but it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. If I see one more like that, I'm gonna,
You're just going to
but
exit. You're just going to leave quietly like a clubhouse
yes.
room.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think that if you're authentically yourself and you really want to connect with somebody, and if there is an opportunity there, you guys will figure it out. I feel like there's such a urgency for some of these, or those people that ask the leading questions and then they jump on you after you answer it. Like, what's your favorite type of popcorn? And you answer, and they're like, and how does that make you feel? And do you want me to coach you? And I can, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
take a step back, please.
Oh my gosh, you see a lot of the clickbait questions that are like market research in Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like I could go on and on about this, but I think it's just, I don't know. There still are good people out there in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Internet marketers have taken over a little bit in
Yeah.
our space.
Yes. Well, let's just stand up and be ourselves and show that more. But I wanted to ask you about your journey. So why don't you explain what you do now, and then let's go into how you got there.
Okay, this is fun. I am what I call self-proclaimed unicorn because I am good at a lot of things. I've always been a good, well-rounded person. I've had a lot of passions. I think that I'm willing to work hard and go all in, and I've really developed this well-rounded, I don't know, skill set in the online space. And so I call it a unicorn because it is kind of magical. A lot of business owners are looking for somebody who can help them, who can help implement and help do a little bit of design and writing and no social media strategy.
Yeah.
So I kind of plugged my way in there. And it started as a freelance job. And I mean, I can back up in a little bit, but right now I call myself, or I did for a while, a virtual assistant, a VA in this space. And it's
Mhm.
such like a vague term. And I've always hated it. It always sounded like kind of like an underling, peon. And when
Right.
really I was helping my business owners grow and make millions and be very successful online, I started calling myself and all the, women I work with and teach unicorn VAs. So
Ah.
that's hence our bonding over the term unicorn. I just like the term unicorn because one business owner was like, well, technically a unicorn doesn't exist. Like, yeah, I know, but I had a business owner come to me saying, I need help. I need somebody who understands art history, teaching, and digital courses and digital marketing. And so I tapped into my student group because I have a course. I've trained some women on how to work online, and I found 4 women who had some kind of educational background, were teachers, and I had taught them digital marketing. And the lady was like blown away, ended up hiring 2 of them. And that's just the essence of the unicorn, like somebody who has a passion, past experiences, like talents and interests, and then can add the digital marketing into it. And they're a force to be reckoned with. And
Yeah.
once they are discovered, they are hunted down because they are in such demand. And
Right.
so the unicorns do exist and they can be created. But that's my little spiel about that. So I feel like anyone comes from any kind of unique background can step into this role easily.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with the unicorn definition. They definitely exist, but it's almost unbelievable that they do in
Yes.
what their actions are and how they live their lives.
Yeah. You said it so well.
Oh. Well, like, oh, that's so eloquent. What you said.
I'm going to write that down. Thank you.
So, I mean, how did you find yourself here?
So I'm a military spouse and I have always had a hard time like picking that one thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had an interest in different things. And I went to school and I was probably the one person who didn't change their major.
Ah,
Full on,
yes.
I was full on expecting to change it. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I pick, I'll just change it. And I picked journalism. I
Okay.
always loved writing. I always loved telling people things. And I just liked that mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so much better with my written thoughts than I am verbally. And I chose that major and I decided to do broadcast and electronic media. And it's really funny about that is because I was really good with print. I'd done a lot of classes in high school and AP classes, and I just wanted to do something different. And so I chose broadcast, not knowing every single person in there wanted to be in front of the camera. And
Oh,
like I had no desire to be in front of the camera. I was like, I'm going to be the producer and tell you what to do.
yeah.
And it was pretty fun because we dabbled around with like Dreamweaver and like electronic media stuff and video editing. And like, I loved that techie part of it, but I had no idea where I was going with this. And I had zero desire to be in the, like have any visibility whatsoever. Like did not want to be in front of the camera at all. Like myself posting pictures of me on Instagram sometimes is horrifying to me. My twin brother makes fun of me. He's like, you just want to be Insta famous. I'm like, no, I'm building a business. I
Right.
have to do
I
this.
have to be visible.
Right. I need the no like trust factor. People need to see two eyeballs. But so I ended up getting married to a military guy, and everything just kind of got pushed to the side. And I 100% knew what I was getting into as a military child. Like it was familiar.
Mm.
And the military kind of forced us to get married early. Like he was going to Korea. And at first I was like, I'll never get married in college. And then I totally did, like with a couple weeks left before finals. And we had a little window and he left. And I just kind of went with the flow for probably the next decade, like just kind of getting any kind of work I could. I really don't know what I would have done. And I never thought of myself as like a doormat or Pollyanna, but I really had no problem with this lifestyle. Like it paid off well. We've traveled the world. I've lived in Germany and Belgium, and I've been to Korea, and I've had like a great life. But I can remember when we first got stationed together, going into the military world in Germany and like walking into an office and seeing all these really young women with big fat diamonds on their fingers. And I'm like, they're all just doing admin office jobs. And I literally wanted to cry. Like I did not go to school. I did not have like this like creative passion in me to just work in an office. And I got really lucky after there was a hiring freeze. I got a job at Chili's doing the bartender thing, which I'm pretty good at. And then I ended up working in public affairs, which like filtered into everything I did later. But I've always been really scrappy and got the job, like figured out a way. There's something about me that has always been industrious and ambitious and never like just always found a way. Like I've had jobs, let's see, working at the paper. I've done jobs like setting up conference equipment, audio visual equipment, and video editing. I worked for HGTV doing complete like monkey work, doing editing their scripts and logging video. I have worked in TV news, which I absolutely hated. Like I just always found a way. And right when I finally got my dream job, finally got a duty station, kind of sometimes when we first move, I like plug into the first job that will accept me. And then the next job that I got was my dream job. I was a communications director at a nonprofit and found out I was pregnant the week I started, which was very much planned for, but definitely threw me for a loop there. So I feel like I had these ambitions. I was finally able to kind of, get my dream job, have it all paid off. And I was so embarrassed about my resume up until that place because I'm always starting over. Never had a job longer than 18 months. It's completely obvious that I'm just going to move. I even had a boss tell me, I knew I could get you for cheap because you're a military spouse.
Wow.
And I had this like crazy skill set. And yeah, I mean, that job was great, but I'm like, you're kind of an a-hole for saying that, right? So I had this salary cap too. And I got pregnant with my son, and I just said yes to a couple of freelance clients, not really thinking. We ended up moving like we always do. And I ended up just not working after that. And then my freelance career exploded. And I had no end goal with that. I just had a couple opportunities thrown my way. And I think if you're a hard worker and you're good at what you do, you figure things out, you get solutions, and you get your clients results. It just happens. Like the referrals came flooding in. I never had to market myself. I didn't even have my own Instagram until like almost 2 years ago. Like I didn't even have a website. Like it just took off from there. And it started with the most random jobs. And it opened up this whole online formula of what people are doing with their businesses as far as like growing their email list, growing their social media, you
Yeah.
know, monetizing their talents with digital products and courses. And I just built a name for myself in that space and never had to promote myself. And it was just kind of crazy because it looped back to what I did in college, building some random websites, although that
Yeah.
was like a floppy, a zip disk
Yeah.
back in the day. I mean, that was a little antiquated, but it was so funny how it circled back. But I still use now my PR skills. Like I still found a way to adapt that to this online space where I'm still like, it's so in demand right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of a long like loop around story for you, but it's kind of crazy how it all worked out. And now this crazy resume that I was so embarrassed about is like my asset that everyone's screaming for and they want.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So, how did you get into then taking this skill set and training women? Or is it just women or?
Yeah, I've had a couple of dudes go through the course, but it's mainly women. It's
Yeah.
mainly moms, military spouses, or
Mm-hmm.
women starting second careers. But it was funny because I was completely happy doing the work. And I had this kind of aha moment when my client made $1 million. And I'm like, wait a second. I worked how hard and I stayed up how late. And then I was like, what are my long-term assets here? Like, what did I create for myself? And I'm using my intellectual capital here to like help you guys grow your business. And that was all fine and dandy. And when she had $1 million, I kind of had this like, oh, Emily, like you're giving it away a little bit.
Yeah.
And most of my clients, like I love getting them started, but when somebody hit that like epitome, like epic level of success, I kind of had to like take a step back. And I was at a conference, my first conference. I hadn't gone to a conference in like over 10 years, like because I'd been having babies. I have 4 children. And I just got bombarded by business owners who wanted to hire me. They needed somebody who was a mix of skills. They needed a unicorn, someone who could do a little bit of a website, help them with like Kajabi, help them with some graphic design, help them with some emails. And I did not bring a single business card. I did not have an Instagram. I had nothing. And I had this like light bulb moment. I'm like, I could teach Laura, Claudia, Tabitha, like all of these smart military wives who are down in South Florida with me at the time. We can't get hired. We don't speak Spanish. We're only going to be there 2 years. No one's going to hire us. I'm like, I can get them in. And I got them in. I got them in. I started training them. And then I thought, I need to scale this. And so I started a course and I did it. I launched a course and I've had about 150 women go through it. And then I give them jobs afterward. And I just basically teach them everything they need to know to get started. And it's fun because it's a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can kind of pick and choose their path based on what they're good at, what their passions are. And then they can get their hands dirty and kind of figure it out as they do the work.
And having you as support and guidance. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've trained people to do exactly what you need them to do.
Yeah. And then business owner, I just helped 2 people. I helped the business owner who was so desperate, who I had to say no to. So I think we've all been there with clients where you have to know your limits and your boundaries. I think it's really hard. It was really hard for me to say no, but it was really easy for me to say, I know someone who could help you.
Right. That helps with the no.
Yep. And so
100%.
I just needed a pool of people who knew enough to help them. And a lot of it, I think this is a hard world because the digital space changes so much.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, one day Instagram algorithm likes this and the next day you're not supposed to do that, and trying to stay up to date on all of it and do the client work and promote yourself. And so I created a community where people could kind of refer each other, keep on learning and stay up to date. And at one point I had the commander's wife working for me. And, and I was like, it's kind of cool. She had an engineering degree, and now she's like an online business manager. She helps someone who's super creative, like complete opposite. It's a perfect match because the creatives out there, the visionaries, they need somebody like Laura who's organized.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My assistant's my life.
Yes. Yeah. I heard, was she on one of your podcasts? I think I heard that one.
No, Gianna hasn't been on.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think. Well, Charlotte's
Yeah.
my accountability partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Yeah. People like Charlotte
Ugh,
are in hot demand.
she nerds out over details and organization and systems. And I'm like, oh, can
Like, I just want to do the creative
you
fun
just do
thing.
it for me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it's got to feel incredible to watch other people succeed and grow. And, they're in the same position as you, what their life is like as far as, these 2-year commitments and not having a whole lot of longevity and to be able to teach them something that they can really thrive is
Yeah.
amazing.
And it's cool to watch them find their own and gain that clarity. I
Yeah,
actually really love it when my students say, I don't do XYZ. Like, I don't do writing. I don't do social media. And like they find like what they're
their
really good
thing.
at. Like they just become a stronger business owner.
Yeah.
Their services get better. They dial into who their clients are and they gain a lot of confidence. It's tough at the beginning when you're trying to figure all of that out.
Yeah. I see the same thing in my industry because have designers who come in and they're fresh out of school and they're like, I'll do everything. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. But,
You're gonna,
eventually you figure out what you really like doing. And then you're really, really good at that because you love it so much. And, like you were saying, things change so fast. You cannot be an expert in everything. So I think having like this community of really passionate people about one specific little thing is incredible.
it was so fun for me as somebody who's a little bit techie. Like I feel like I'm a balanced left brain, right brain.
Yeah.
And all of my beginning clients were creatives. They
Uh-huh.
were furniture painters and designers. And so for me to be able to come in and say, okay, you've got this talent, let's monetize it, let's get X, Y, and Z going and getting them to show up consistently, like blogging, emails. Pinterest is a big thing for a lot of the creatives, getting
Mhm.
them set up with like different income streams. Like they didn't see that world. They just wanted to do their creative thing. And it was so fun when
Yeah.
I believe in the client and their talent and I can't do what they do. Like that's amazing. Like I have this gorgeous blue desk. I wish you could see that one of my clients painted for me.
Oh, how
And
cool.
it's so funky. It has so much character. It's like cobalt blue. It's a little wobbly because the furniture leg broke in the last
Oh.
move. So I yell at my kids. I'm like, don't touch my desk. But it's so cool that like I am able to kind of, I don't want to say fund, but like support her business and get it going where it's more profitable. She's not working one-to-one anymore with all like clients. Like she has a little bit of a break, but she's also able to influence more of the world and have a bigger impact and serve more clients because now she has digital products. Like she can sell workshops and ebooks and tutorials and things like that. So like I feel like I'm kind of giving back in an indirect way through
Yeah.
my own creative talents, which are still valued,
Yeah. It's for someone to have figured out a system to be able to monetize your creative talents is so, I mean, game changing for a creative person who has no idea how to market themselves in amazing talent, but don't know really where to start when it comes to business.
Yeah, it's tough out there, especially because there's so many different avenues to pursue
Mm-hmm.
and not every channel is right for every, business owner, but
And
it's
everyone's in your ear. Like everything you see on social media is like, this, 5 days to this, or, learn the secrets of that. And I think so many people I see in a position where they're like just intake and then they never do anything with that knowledge because there's just too much to, if you're not focused on one specific thing,
yeah.
you just get overwhelmed.
You know what the biggest factor has been between which clients have success and which don't is consistency. And it is a long-term game. So like going all in 5 different channels is going to burn you out, right?
Yes.
But when I usually start working with a client, we start with one thing, we show up consistent. Like it's kind of a slow process. There's a couple clients it has been frustrating for them and not fast enough for them. But guess what, Kendra? Some of them are in the same place 3 years later. But like usually we start with like, that signature piece of content, like showing up consistently to like market and show that off, usually in a blog. Some
Mm-hmm.
people do the vlogs, right? The video blogs.
Yeah.
But, and then you add something extra and
Hmm.
you keep going, and you have to get that workflow down before you add even more. And just like having a client who wants like everything at once is just like a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah. I've had people come to me where they just thought, well, I need to make this, huge in the next 3 months. I'm like, no, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
You have no brand, you have no presence, you have no audience. Like, who are you talking to in 3 months?
It's slow. It's a really slow process. And it's frustrating too, because one of my former clients is a big wig in this space. And she joined a couple of these social media channels when early growth was exploding. Like it was easier to get all of these
Yeah.
followers. And I think every single algorithm has changed, minus maybe Clubhouse right now,
I
where
know.
it's not even about the number of followers anymore, but people still get locked on that. And this
Yeah.
is not like 2013. Like things are way different. You don't just instantly have all these vanity, metrics going for you. And they get so locked on that. And I have, especially my Pinterest clients, I'm like, okay, are you in it for the long haul? Because this is going to take a while. And there are ways to fast track. If you have ad spend, right? If you want to
Right.
do paid
Right.
ads, paid
Yeah.
traffic, you can fast track some things. But I think that the slow and steady is like the best way to go.
How do you feel about Clubhouse?
Um, I like hosting rooms with people.
Yeah.
I do not hang out there. I cannot stand. Here I am on a podcast. I can't stand when people just like yak to yak. I
Yeah.
like real conversations. I like how Clubhouse gives us that advantage. But like the first couple, or that opportunity to have a real conversation, the first couple of rooms I ever went in, I feel like so many people just talk to talk and then plug themselves, and
Right.
everybody's got a book to sell. And I don't know. I think the jury's still out. What do you think?
Well, I'm not an iPhone user, so I'm only on it on my iPad,
Uh-huh.
which I'm not on often. I'm the oddest designer. I love my Mac, but I hate other Apple products. I got the iPad because I wanted to draw more and I thought digital drawing would be fun. I hate it. So I'm not on it often. And I didn't realize what it was. And when the first time I went in, I was like, oh, I'm like, we're all talking. Okay. Huh. Because I had no clue. I haven't explored it. I'm just also don't really feel like putting energy there, but I'm sure I was like, oh, this is like, you can get in on the ground floor. I'm missing an opportunity. And I was like, I don't need that.
Yeah, I think it's more of a distraction right now. And oh, how do I say this nicely? I feel like the rich get richer. Like all those people with the big social media followings are going over there and
Yeah.
collaborating and just like trying to quickly probably establish that they're still the bigwigs. And I see these rooms, and I'm deep in this space, mind you, and I just hear
Yeah.
them talking about the same old crap, like 10x
Ugh,
your blah 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 and XYZ days. And I just I'm just not interested right
I
now. I
know.
kind of know I need to put my nose to the ground and show up in my business. And Clubhouse, I don't know. I'm also a mom, so I enjoy the
Yeah. So you're
quiet.
not busy.
Yeah, sometimes I'll listen. I've raised my hand a few times, and I've probably gotten one student from Clubhouse.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think the rooms that are more social would be fun, but I'm just
Yeah.
like you. I'd rather show up in an authentic way. I have done a couple rooms about answering questions about for women who want to become virtual assistants, and I've
Hmm.
co-hosted that, and
That's
it was
fun.
really actually effective, and it was helpful in my public speaking and like answering questions and all of that. But it just seems like such a big time commitment for such a little
Yeah.
payoff right now,
Yeah.
honestly. And then it's gone. Like you can't repurpose the
Right.
content. It's gone. And I like to repurpose that content and make it work for me.
Yeah. I
So
could see that. Yeah, I could see it being like entertaining more than anything I would put into my, but I don't use social media for marketing. I just use it for outreach and like connection. Um, which, that's why I don't do marketing.
yeah, like I could see it being good for people who like to talk about their process, or
Hmm.
I can see it sometimes there can be networking groups and whatnot for people who want to collaborate. But I just feel like maybe I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but I feel like there's always some underlying selling happening. And I
Right. Yeah.
don't like that.
No. I like even the webinars, or not webinar. Yeah, I've done a couple webinars, but the only ones I'll ever do are the ones where I get to teach somebody something and I have nothing to sell. Like, I'd rather just help someone figure something out and move on with my life than, sell myself. And the
Yeah.
people that want to find you always find you, right?
What's interesting is I have a webinar that I've done, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to bring it back to life in like an evergreen funnel. And I mean, webinars as an education based marketing, like they work. Like I can use my webinar to teach women about different areas to get online. And yeah, there's a pitch behind it, but for the most part, I'm teaching these like 5 different areas women could explore, and they don't need my program to go explore that. So I like it when it's kind of
That,
introducing people to a concept,
right.
and it is warming them up to buy, but it's actually teaching. But there's webinars out there that I don't know, I struggle when I need like actionable tips. I need to like
Yeah.
I need
I
solid
need to be
content.
taking mad notes. Like you should be
Yeah.
giving me something that I'm like, what? Oh my God, I missed that. Go back.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I love.
yeah, it's funny how this little world we're in can just be so funny like that.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's hard to like walk that line between, showing up to give yourself that brand presence, but also being being yourself. Um, Sometimes like I get that little voice in my ear that you're like I never show my work ever. And I'm like, duh, show your work.
Yeah. It would be nice if you could just tell yourself, okay, every Friday is going to be my client applauding day. I'm just going to shout out to a client and like not make it about you, but make it
Right.
about them and their progress. And like a little side note, yeah, I'm doing the work, but I like those humble ways to
That
brag.
I like a lot. That's a good way to frame that.
I have a hard time doing that for myself. And I
Yeah.
think I didn't even join the Instagram game until what, 2019. And I just threw myself a pity party. So like I'm starting from zero and I've been working online for 10 years and you never know. And my clients have had success and I'm a nobody. And I did have a pity party because when you first start Instagram or any kind of marketing, like social media channel, you start with zero.
Yeah.
Painful, and it's hard to show up when there's zero people, but you have to
Especially,
like,
your resume.
oh my gosh, yeah. And I think some of us have a hard time talking about ourselves anyway, and it seems really like I don't take enough selfies. Clearly,
I take a couple too many.
well, I might not post them. That might.
I don't. So I do, but my assistant is connected to my Google Drive. And I
Uh-huh.
didn't realize until she told me that she sees every single picture I take of myself, which, you take like 20 before you find one that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she told me that one day. She's like, I liked number 18. That was good. I'm like, what? Yeah,
I'm
careful.
curious. I would be so embarrassed because I'm like, it
I
took a
didn't really
lot to
care.
get to that number 8. It took a lot of like skinny arm and chin twisting.
Right?
My gosh. Yeah, that part's hard. I have to say things really like kind of changed for me when I invested in branded photos. And
Hmm.
I know you know the importance of this, but I know I definitely started showing up more confidently. I was less afraid to post on Instagram. My photographer made me look so good, although she did not edit out, Photoshop out the ink stain on my jacket.
Oh
So
no.
whenever I'm I kind of like it now. Like I kind of like the flawed and real. And every
Yeah.
time I post a picture of me in that jacket, I'm like, there's the ink. And I could go in, I have skills, I could take it out. But I kind of laugh at that. But that definitely was a big game changer for me. And I'm always telling everybody, like even my creatives, I'm like, who they're just posting like what they work on. I'm
Hmm.
like, you still need to see fit photos of yourself, right? It's good
Yeah.
social media. Like clients, customers, they want to like be able to trust you, and to build that trust quicker than ever, it takes video and
Hmm.
it takes photos of yourself. And
Yeah.
so many of my clients have been afraid to do that and post. And it's not like, it doesn't mean you want to be insta famous or like
No,
you're
but you
completely
should show
this.
people who you are because that is your distinguisher.
Yeah.
Nobody can, somebody could have my same business name or do exact, and there's tons and tons of designers out there. So what
Yeah.
makes somebody want to work with me? So showing my life and showing my personality and why I love and how I see the world. I think Instagram specifically for me is a great way to show my clients my vision. It's probably why I don't share too much of my work, because it's more about what I see and how I see it. And it's different, I think, and
Yeah.
letting them see that and letting them in on my insight a little bit.
Yeah, it can be hard to know what to post,
Yeah.
and that's good advice. And what is the process for working with me, and how does that look like behind the scenes? Like,
Hmm.
people have those questions. If you can kind of tear down some of the walls behind working with you.
Right.
um, and I think that we always, as business owners, need to be gathering testimonials, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm the
And
worst at that.
feedback from clients. I mean, that's probably like, that's a big time struggle for everyone, just organizing those, remembering to post those on
Yeah.
social.
I
Um,
finally made a testimonial page on my website that I have been sent. I mean, I'm in business almost 20 years, and I literally did it like 3 months ago.
it's so funny because there's a certain type of buyer based on the disc personality that will look at those reviews.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
certain person who will go over every little detail of your sales page before they buy anything or book a call. And I'm not that person. I'm like the quick decision maker. Like, I have a gut, I want to work with you, let's do it. But there are
Yeah.
other people who will read that, and those testimonials are a big part of their decision making.
I
So it's
included
so
clients in my my reel for my business. I had a videographer do a whole thing on Mocha, and that is like, if for no other reason than it just makes you feel really great, ask for testimonials, because it's
important.
so nice to hear how much value you've brought to somebody's business. And
And that is such a good tip. Like, have the brag book, right? Have
yeah,
the I love me folder on your desktop. So when things go sideways and
yeah.
you mess up your work, because mistakes happen, like when you're not feeling good, when you're battling and, imposter syndrome, you can open up that and read those testimonials, and you'll feel so much better about where you've come and what you're doing, and your confidence. Like,
Yeah.
um, that is such a good tip for like every single business owner. But I like the fact that you have that in a reel.
I
Like,
know,
I
it was
did
good. I
that.
was like, oh, that's been my obsession, is Instagram reels. I love making, and I make them for no, like, I'll do coffee in the morning. I'll show them, like, I get trade coffee every month. So
Uh-huh.
I show like what my coffee is and like pour it. I just love making those silly little videos.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I feel like you could get hired because people need help with that.
Uh, I made a really fun one about a farm visit that I took the kids to, and that's still my favorite with the funny. I love doing them.
I
Video's
did
been
one.
something like new that I very much enjoy.
It's funny for me because even though my degree was broadcast and editing, like, I always had a partner with me on all of those projects. So I
Yeah.
would be like the bossy pants, and he would actually do the physical editing. I'm thinking of Phil because we partnered on everything. We were a good fit. And then when I got this job after college, I was helping edit video for the Army. We were in Germany still. And I got to like direct the welcome to Germany video. Like, hello, everybody. Like, this is big time for the
Wow.
Army.
Yeah.
Not really. But I just had I had everyone else do the physical editing, and I just, directed and produced it. And then when it came time to the online space, I was just so afraid of doing video because things had changed so much.
Yeah.
And finally I had to get over myself, and it came from a passion project, and I'm like, I finally just need to jump in here. I know I'm capable of doing it. It's just going to be painful. And I was making a fun little thing for a client that I just love so dearly. I wanted to do something extra for her, and it paid off because then it like got my iMovie skills up today. And then
Yeah.
now I'm like doing video stuff all of the time. Like, this is so funny because I went back to my roots, but I fought it hard. I don't know why. The Instagram reels are so fun. And then if you go, are you on TikTok at all?
Yes. But as my daughter, she goes on my account and she has like 20 followers, but it's my name. Yeah.
I sometimes go down those rabbit holes. Like, sometimes I just get inspiration and I want to have fun with it. And at first I thought TikTok, I'm like an old lady. I'm like fighting new technology, even though this is my space. One of my favorite reels I did was making fun of early 2000 video and endings, movie endings.
Okay.
And I love like some of these like challenges on TikTok. And if I could just like do a video every Friday, I would probably be really happy. But yeah, I like the silly, like pointless stuff. Like all the
Yeah.
videos where people are like pointing and dancing, like that's not me.
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah,
You
not
will, if I'm ever in a reel and pointing at things, somebody has me like, taking over my body, I will
Come
never.
rescue you. Come rescue you.
I love the creativity I see on TikTok though. And like, especially during COVID and quarantine, how creative people got. I was like, wow, the cleverest,
Yeah.
smartest thing. I was like so inspired. It was really cool.
I think when we're just bombarded with all these marketing and sales messages all of the time,
Hmm.
I gravitate toward fun and entertaining.
Yes.
And then later I'm like, I want to buy with from her, work from her. But like I
Right.
am 100% there because I just can't stand all the spammy sales stuff. And the more entertaining and the more funny and witty
Yep.
it is, like I fall in love with people and I can't, like, I want to just be in their world.
That's the way we build brands is being, or whether you're a company or you're a person, that's what, because then you're attracting your ideal client, like just by being yourself. You don't have to be anybody else, show up as anybody else, just
Yeah.
show up as yourself, and that connection will naturally happen.
Yeah. You don't have to do a wiggle dance because that's what everyone's doing.
Yes. Yeah, no.
You don't want to see me dance.
Oh, me neither. Forget it. Yeah. I've
Okay.
found that doing what I've been doing for the past 20 years, initially doing all the design work and being in the nitty-gritty of it was so exciting. And now the thing that I find most exciting is watching my team come up with ideas that I never would have thought of. And they inspire me. And then we give that to the client. I just think, it's interesting to watch the career shift as you get further into it and the different roles that you take on and play. Do you see that too with your own career?
I do. And I see that first and foremost with my students. It's interesting to watch some of them pick their niche and get smarter at it than me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more proud,
Right,
right?
right.
Like I can now refer people to them. I can hire them to help me.
Mhm.
And I love that. And that's totally embracing the growth mindset there. Like I'm not threatened by that. And I want that for them. I wanted every single person. At one point, I had 8 women working for me. I encouraged everybody to go start their own business.
Yeah.
And that made me so happy. And a couple of them didn't want to. A couple of them wanted me to be doing the billing and the invoicing and bringing in the clients, and that they were happy with that. But to see some other people go off on their own, just it was awesome. And I think my career has been built, or this new second career, this second wave has been built on me saying yes to things and being uncomfortable with it
Mhm.
and going with the flow. And I think for some people it can be really hard to be in that uncomfortable zone, not be able to have all the answers,
Right.
and not just like the answers you can YouTube, but like I don't know where this is going,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And this season right now, I know who I'm serving and what I'm trying to do, but I quite honestly, I don't have a 5-year, 10-year plan. And I'm kind of open to how things will go. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of been my life as a drifter.
It's all about the journey.
Yeah, it is. It is about the journey. And sometimes it can feel really impatient when your Instagram account is going really slow, but I know it is about the journey. And I did that human design test. Have you done that? Have
You
you
know I haven't.
I got the projector and I just read a little tiny bit about it, and it was talking about like incubating and collecting experiences. And I think that has been me. I think I've had all of these random jobs, and I didn't see it at the time, although I know my mom saw it. My mom's like, one day you're going to write a book. You're just waiting. It's just coming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't lived through anything. And now I'm like, oh boy, that book is like around the corner. But it all like added up to something. I just couldn't clearly see it.
Mhm.
And at the time, everything served me. And I think it was really pertinent that I knew when to walk away in some
Mhm. Ooh,
situations.
that's a
And
good
I
tip.
got lucky in a lot of places because it was very clear. Like the military made us move. I've had some boss changes where like a new boss came in and it was horrible and like ruined a good thing. And that's happened a couple times to me where I'm like, I was doing so well. And they brought somebody in, but it always served me. Like that next thing,
Right.
as painful as it was, like to walk away from certain clients and certain jobs, it took me somewhere else. And you got to kind of just trust the process. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, I think being rigid about like this is exactly my vision and it's going to show up this way, and it's I think keeping the idea that like this or better and trying to follow that path is a good mindset to have,
Yeah.
because you
I
never
think
know where you're going to land.
you absolutely have no idea.
Yeah. But I think it's been interesting because I mean, I would have put money on the fact that I would always be the main designer in my company, and that I knew, not that I knew better, but that the most innovation would come from my head. And over the years, I've realized, like, and I guess I always knew that because, like, in school, you would see other people create on the same topic and, like, wildly different ideas, and it was so neat. So I see that now in my business with all these people. It's so cool to see the way their brains work and the way they come up with a different solution to the same problem. But I had been extremely rigid about that thought, and now, as I'm so many years into this, I'm looking forward to a major shift where, maybe I'm not the one running everything anymore, and I'm just the idea of just nurturing client relationships and being that salesperson for the business is extremely exciting. And I think that's probably where things will move. So I'm for the first time in a long time looking at where does this go, and basically because I just want to go with my gut, and I have other things that I want to try, like this podcast or writing a book, or I would actually love to do a TED talk.
Oh my
um,
God. Yes, you should.
but I don't have room in my life for all that other stuff. So,
Yeah.
shifting my emphasis and it not letting go of my design business, but working with someone who I can empower to really take it and make it something even greater than I've ever made it, would be a really cool shift.
And that takes so much pressure off of you. Like, and it's not like anything is permanent. You could come back to that. Like the
Yeah.
second you wanted to take on clients or do that, you so could. But you're right. It's all time is so precious right now. You have to pick and choose what you spend your time on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to encourage you with that. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
I definitely think that's the directional, and I really love, I hate teaching, but I like inspiring. So whether that's speaking or putting together a group of people to inspire, I think that's really it sounds yummy.
It does. And I think that you're there. I mean, you've had the experiences that led you up to this. You've run your own business. You've witnessed a lot. I think that is the next step and a bigger, bolder impact.
Well, I think that's the cool thing about this generation and this time is that we all have that opportunity to decide what we want to do and just do it. Figure out your steps, um, make it real world. Like, obviously you can't just leave a job, but coming up with a plan for how you want to get to where you want to go. There's really nothing we can't accomplish now.
There's not. What has been your favorite TED Talk? Is there like one you recommend?
I loved the Mel Robbins one, and that one got me thinking quite a bit about just small shifts and small changes. But there is a guy that's coming on this podcast. I'm going to completely butcher his name, so I'm not going to say it. I'll put a link in the show notes. But he did a podcast about, or a TED talk about, this figure that is called Captain Ahab. And he takes it around with him, and he uses it as an excuse to take chances instead of like using an excuse to not do something. This has been an excuse in his life to travel the world, to make connections with people. And the backstory is that it was his grandfather's in the Navy, and they used it the same way. I
Wow.
love that kind of story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll have to look forward to that. I really like, there's one, and I'm going to butcher her name too. Her first name is Emily, and I think it's like Wapnick or something, but she has a TED talk about being a multi-potentialite. And I had never heard that word before. And when I heard it,
No.
I'm like, this is so me. And it's kind of giving you the freedom to have many interests
Yes.
over many jobs over a lifetime. Like
Well,
unlocking like so much potential in yourself, because so many
Yeah.
people are like, you have to niche down and do this one
Right.
thing. And I'm like, but I don't want to. I don't want to label myself. I'm just like a lot of things. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's going against the grain when I say that. And when I saw her talk on that, like, yes, I was like, that is what I'm helping women do, kind
Yeah.
of embrace their multi talents and characteristics and personality traits that they can bring to the table. But I liked it, it gave me, it gives you permission to do it when you
Yes.
hear somebody say that.
When I just changed my, I think it's my email signature. I changed it to joy seeker. So I used to have all these different titles and I was like, whatever.
I like
Um,
that.
that's the base of the way I want to live my life. It's like, what is the next joyful experience that I can have and how can I build to that? But
Yeah.
I think, previously it was looked down upon to have many jobs or many experiences. In previous generations, it was like,
Yeah.
well, why can't you hold down a job?
Yeah.
But
You have to be loyal to
right, your
decades
employer,
of your life.
yeah, you're pot committed to this. You spent all this time doing it. You're not going to keep doing it. No,
Yeah. People are
I,
like that with their degrees. Like they feel like,
yes,
I'm locked into this because this was my degree.
right. But how the heck are you supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at 18? And why should you do
Yeah.
one thing for the rest of your life? It's a long life. Like,
Yeah.
live it. I had an English teacher in high school, and he was the first person that ever told me that. And he said, you guys are the first generation that are going to have multiple careers. And I was like, huh, never like crossed my mind. I was like, I'm going to go to school and be a designer, and that's all I'm going to do. And now I'm like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He was so wise to see that. And I can't
Yeah.
help but wonder about this generation right now that is on Zoom. Like, I
Yeah.
think they're going to bust the 9 to 5. I think they're going to
Totally.
completely upturn our normal working world. And I think they're getting a taste of like how it is to be locked down right now on computers. I think they're going to blow our minds with something new. I
I
don't know
think
what
this
it's.
is a game changing generation. I think our generation wanted to change the world. I think this generation has the support and the permission to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We're just, we're leading tracks. We're
Yes.
leading tracks and we're helping them and we're nurturing the people to get
Yes. We're supporting them. We're showing them the way. We're giving them all the tools.
there. We're giving them the shortcut.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, this is an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was so fun chatting and not really having this agenda and just to be able to share my story. And I hope some people here who listen are inspired to do their thing.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many people right now, especially women, who are in a position where they have this incredible skill set and they're stuck home and they need to make money. And what you teach is, I mean, can change people's lives.
Yeah, it's what I have my course, I'm going to go ahead and plug it, is the
Yeah.
Digital Media VA Crash Course. There are other ways to become a virtual assistant. You can focus on admin stuff. If you know you want to be a graphic designer, there are other channels out there, but if you're not quite sure what you want to do and you need your help getting into this world and learning this online formula that business owners expect you to know, you can get in my crash course right now if you go to vacrashcourse.com, and I'm accepting students and I teach you everything from SEO to Pinterest strategy to supporting your clients on webinars and emails and all of that stuff. But I mean, it's such like a wide fundamental, it's like a wide base that you're building with this course, and you can get in. I would love to have you, but yeah, or you can send friends my way who might be interested. I'd be happy to chat and see if it's right for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have that on your unicorn page. We'll have all ways to connect with you and in the show notes as well.
All right, awesome. I can't wait to see what you do next on your reels. I'll be watching you.
Thank you. It's fun. All right, girl. Thank you. And we'll be back Sunday with another episode. All right.